Is the world knowable, or is it mysterious and unknowable? Are reason and logic man's sole means of gaining knowledge, or are emotions superior means of cognition? Is man a rational, efficacious being, capable of success and happiness, or is he a congenital incompetent, doomed to perpetual doubt and despair? Is the struggle to gain knowledge and learn how to think for myself worth it, or is obeying and pleasing others more important? Should I passively accept the dominant culture's values, or should I look outside the culture to the grand-scale context of the history of ideas for something better? Those shared matters are referred to philosophically as fundamental issues. A fundamental issue, dear listener, is one that pertains to all members of the species, an inescapable part of human existence. Philosophy is the intellectual discipline whose purpose is to study the fundamental nature of things, which then enables the special sciences to study isolated aspects of the universe. Or, one could say that the purpose of philosophy is to teach man to make valid identifications, i.e., establish the identity of the fundamental nature of things. And one may learn to do this only once he has come to understand the 5 branches of philosophy. Forming the base of philosophy's hierarchical knowledge are metaphysics, which studies the fundamental nature of reality and man, and epistemology, which studies the nature of knowledge and man's means of acquiring it. Logically based on and derived from these 2 fundamental branches is the 3rd branch, ethics. It is only on the basis of having properly identified the fundamental nature of man, including his means of knowledge, and of the universe in which he acts, that it is possible to formulate a prescription for what man ought to do. Whereas the first 2 branches are essentially descriptive, ethics is prescriptive. The task of a proper, non-religious, scientific ethics is to teach man, quite simply, to make the right choices. The next step up man's hierarchical structure of knowledge is politics. Its proper function is to identify and implement the principles that serve as a logical transition from guiding a man's actions to guiding his actions with others, and to tie it all together and present man his abstract theoretical philosophy in concretized form for his pleasure and contemplation is aesthetics or art. Everyone has a metaphysics, a view of reality, an epistemology, a view of knowledge, an ethics, a code for making choices, a politics, and an aesthetics or art values. In short, he has a philosophy. Man needs a philosophy in order to live. The only alternative is whether the individual gains his philosophy by chance or by choice. Most in our culture have, in fact, left the issue of their own souls to chance influences. One's soul is not some gossamer-like, ghostly Ethereum lodged in his nervous system. Your soul is your consciousness, which is comprised of 2 elements, your ideas and your emotions, which are integrated. Your emotions are literally the products of your ideas, your thinking. And most people blindly and uncritically accept their ideas from magazines, books, movies, family, friends, teachers, by osmosis from the cultural atmosphere, as Ayn Rand put it. As a result, many of their ideas or beliefs are contradictory, which is why they are torn by conflict and thus uncertain about so many things. Without philosophy, one cannot critically evaluate ideas, and he perforce becomes a man of mixed premises, with a soul like a shapeless piece of clay, stamped by footprints going in all directions. With a proper understanding of the power of ideas, that is philosophy, one can achieve an integrated personality where there are no contradictions between a man's thought, feelings, and actions. If anyone listening thinks that perhaps people shouldn't be expected to learn philosophy, remember, he who acts contrary to what his perceptions and rational thoughts tell him is the truth is akin to Dostoevsky's underground man who cries, "What do I care for the laws of nature and arithmetic when for some reason I don't like them, or the fact that 2 + 2 = 4? Yes, you are free to evade the responsibility of rational thought and logical deliberation, but not free to escape the consequences. It's up to you. Bodybuilding does not exist in a vacuum apart from the rest of life. Even within bodybuilding, if one desires to learn to distinguish between true and false ideas, he must learn to reason, and only a rational philosophy can teach that. President Jefferson said, "Fix reason firmly in her seat, and call to her tribunal every fact, every opinion. Question with boldness even the existence of a God, because if there is one, he must more approve of the homage of reason than that of blindfolded fear."